The National Electrical Code (NEC) has specific requirements for electrical outlets in kitchen islands. According to the NEC, if a kitchen island has a dimension greater than 6 feet in any direction, it requires at least one outlet receptacle. However, simply meeting the minimum NEC requirement might not be sufficient for practical use. It is generally recommended to install additional outlets based on the size and how you intend to use the island. For small islands, those under 6 feet, one outlet is often considered sufficient. However, for medium-sized islands ranging from 6 to 10 feet, it is recommended to install 2 outlets, ideally one on each end of the island. This provides better access and prevents overloading a single outlet. For larger islands, those over 10 feet, consider installing 3 to 4 outlets spaced evenly around the perimeter. This ensures convenient access from any point on the island and accommodates multiple appliances. When determining the number of outlets, there are several factors to consider beyond the size of the island itself. Appliance usage is a primary consideration. If you plan to use major appliances on the island, such as countertop ovens, blenders, or food processors, you will likely need additional outlets to accommodate these power-hungry devices. Insufficient outlets can lead to the use of extension cords, which can be a safety hazard. Countertop space is another important factor. Generally, the more countertop space available, the more outlets you will need. This allows you to easily plug in small appliances without having to constantly rearrange them. The overall design of the kitchen is also a factor. The placement of outlets should complement the kitchen's design and provide convenient access without being visually obtrusive. Consider the location of cabinets, drawers, and other features when planning outlet placement. There are some other considerations to keep in mind when installing kitchen island outlets. Outlets should be located at least 4 inches above the countertop surface to prevent water or spills from entering the electrical box. Ground fault circuit interrupter (GFCI) outlets are required for kitchen islands to protect against electrical shock, especially in areas where water is present. If the island has a sink or other wet areas, it is crucial to use waterproof electrical covers to further enhance safety. Here's a recap of the guidelines. Firstly, for islands under 6 feet, 1 outlet is generally sufficient. Secondly, for islands between 6 and 10 feet, 2 outlets are recommended, 1 on each end. Thirdly, for islands over 10 feet, 3 to 4 outlets spaced evenly around the perimeter are ideal. Fourthly, consider appliance usage, countertop space, and kitchen design when determining the number and placement of outlets. Fifthly, ensure all outlets are at least 4 inches above the countertop. Sixthly, use GFCI outlets for all kitchen island receptacles. And seventhly, if the island has a sink, use waterproof electrical covers. It's important to note that these are general guidelines, and local electrical codes may have additional requirements. Always consult with a qualified electrician to ensure that your kitchen island wiring meets all applicable codes and safety standards. A professional electrician can assess your specific needs and recommend the appropriate number and placement of outlets for your kitchen island. They can also ensure that the wiring is properly installed and grounded, minimizing the risk of electrical hazards. Remember, electrical work can be dangerous, and it is always best to leave it to the professionals. This will ensure that your kitchen island is not only functional but also safe for you and your family. When planning your kitchen island electrical layout, consider the types of appliances you will be using most frequently. If you regularly use a stand mixer, food processor, or other high-powered appliances, it is best to dedicate a separate outlet to each appliance. This will prevent overloading the circuit and reduce the risk of tripping a breaker. If you have multiple small appliances that you use simultaneously, such as a coffee maker, toaster, and blender, you may want to consider installing a multi-outlet strip or power strip on the island. However, be sure to choose a power strip that is rated for heavy-duty use and has a built-in surge protector. This will help protect your appliances from power surges and voltage fluctuations. Also, be sure to never daisy-chain power strips together, as this can create a fire hazard. When installing outlets on a kitchen island, it is important to choose the right type of outlet. Standard 15 amp outlets are suitable for most small appliances, but for larger appliances or those that draw a lot of power, such as countertop ovens or induction cooktops, you may need to install 20 amp outlets. 20 amp outlets have a different configuration than standard 15 amp outlets, so be sure to use the correct type of plug for the appliance you are using. In addition to standard outlets, you may also want to consider installing USB outlets on your kitchen island. USB outlets allow you to charge your mobile devices, such as smartphones and tablets, without the need for a separate adapter. This can be especially convenient if you use your kitchen island as a workspace or charging station. When choosing USB outlets, look for models that support fast charging and have multiple ports. This will allow you to charge multiple devices simultaneously and at a faster rate. Another option to consider is installing pop-up outlets on your kitchen island. Pop-up outlets are recessed into the countertop and can be raised or lowered as needed. This can be a great way to hide outlets when they are not in use and maintain a clean and uncluttered countertop surface. Pop-up outlets are available in a variety of styles and finishes to match your kitchen decor. When planning the electrical layout for your kitchen island, it is also important to consider the location of the electrical panel. The electrical panel is the main distribution point for electricity in your home, and it is important to ensure that it is easily accessible in case of an emergency. The electrical panel should be located in a dry, well-ventilated area and should not be blocked by furniture or other objects. If you are unsure about the location of your electrical panel, consult with a qualified electrician. They can help you determine the best location for the panel and ensure that it meets all applicable codes and safety standards. When wiring your kitchen island, it is important to use the correct gauge of wire. The gauge of wire refers to its thickness, and the thicker the wire, the more current it can safely carry. For standard 15 amp outlets, you should use 14 gauge wire. For 20 amp outlets, you should use 12 gauge wire. Using the wrong gauge of wire can create a fire hazard. It is also important to use the correct type of wiring connectors. Wiring connectors are used to join wires together and ensure a secure electrical connection. There are many different types of wiring connectors available, but the most common types are wire nuts and push-in connectors. Wire nuts are twisted onto the ends of the wires to create a secure connection. Push-in connectors are inserted into the ends of the wires and use a spring-loaded mechanism to hold the wires in place. When choosing wiring connectors, be sure to select a type that is compatible with the gauge of wire you are using. It is also important to properly ground your kitchen island outlets. Grounding provides a path for electricity to flow safely back to the electrical panel in the event of a short circuit or other electrical fault. All kitchen island outlets should be connected to a grounding wire, which is typically a bare copper wire or a green insulated wire. The grounding wire should be connected to a grounding screw in the electrical box and then to the grounding bus bar in the electrical panel. If you are unsure about how to properly ground your kitchen island outlets, consult with a qualified electrician. It is important to follow all applicable electrical codes when wiring your kitchen island. Electrical codes are designed to ensure the safety of people and property and must be followed to the letter. Electrical codes vary from state to state and even from municipality to municipality, so it is important to check with your local building department to determine the specific codes that apply to your project. If you are unsure about any aspect of electrical code compliance, consult with a qualified electrician or building inspector. They can help you ensure that your kitchen island wiring meets all applicable requirements. In addition to the number and placement of outlets, you may also want to consider adding other electrical features to your kitchen island. For example, you could install under-cabinet lighting to illuminate the countertop surface. Under-cabinet lighting can be a great way to add ambience to your kitchen and make it easier to see what you are doing. You could also install a built-in charging station for your mobile devices. A built-in charging station can help keep your countertop clutter-free and provide a convenient place to charge your phones, tablets, and other devices. Another option is to install a small television or monitor on your kitchen island. A television or monitor can be a great way to keep up with the news or watch cooking shows while you are preparing meals. If you are planning to install a television or monitor on your kitchen island, be sure to choose a model that is energy efficient and has a built-in surge protector. When planning your kitchen island electrical layout, it is important to think about the future. Consider how your needs may change over time and plan accordingly. For example, you may want to install additional outlets even if you do not need them right now. This will give you the flexibility to add new appliances or devices in the future without having to rewire your kitchen island. You may also want to consider installing a subpanel on your kitchen island. A subpanel is a smaller version of the main electrical panel that is dedicated to serving the kitchen island. A subpanel can provide additional circuits and capacity, which can be especially useful if you plan to use a lot of power on the island. If you are considering installing a subpanel on your kitchen island, consult with a qualified electrician. They can help you determine if a subpanel is necessary and ensure that it is properly installed. Remember that electrical work can be dangerous. Only qualified electricians should perform the work.